Hey guys, YouTube Bar100 here. Alright, and now here I am with another horror movie review. And now next up, here I am with a review for Saw. The Saw series is probably like one of the more popular modern horror movie series. Yeah, yeah, and since I haven't actually talked about Saw before, I figured this would be a good year to actually do it. Yeah. So yeah, so yeah, so um this movie it was released in 2004, and and ever since its release it really seemed to really just have like a very mixed reaction. Yeah, there are some people that say they do really like the movie, and there are others that don't like the movie. Yeah, and yeah, that is pretty much the reaction for like basically all the Saw movies, basically. Yeah. So there have been officially, like, there have been, as of right now, 10 Saw movies that have been released. Yeah. There was like the original like Saw series, like there were like the original series had 7 films. Then like in more recent years, like they've had like kind of like some like they've made like some spin-offs and like more sequels. There was a Jigsaw in 2017. There was Spiral in 2021. Yeah. And then just like last month they released a Saw 10, and or Saw X. Yeah. And so this series is still going on to this day. Yeah. And pretty much like all the Saw films, like they're like films that like some people like, and there are other, and the other people just really do not like them. So the Saw movies have really had like a very mixed reaction in its history. Yeah. Me personally, how did I actually feel about the film? Well, to be quite honest, I didn't really like it. I mean, just watching this film, I honestly felt bored for the whole thing. Basically, I just did not enjoy what this film did. Like, I just felt that the what this film did, it just felt like very cliched and boring, and I just really couldn't get into it. Yeah, yeah, like what all it really is like it's like a it really is like a non-linear narrative revolving around the mystery of a killer. Yeah, and throughout the film, like there are these two guys that are like chained up, yeah, and they're like stuck in there, and the killer is like giving them like objectives of what to do, who if they like want to survive, and for most of the film, it is basically just like the two of them just like stuck there, and they're like telling these stories, and we get like this like some like backstories of like what really did lead to this, and we have like the cliche of like one of the guys' family is in trouble, like the killer like is holding them hostage, and like if the guy does not fulfill his obligation of what the killer is ordering him to do, then his family will be killed. And so, yeah, it's very corny and cliched, honestly, and I just really couldn't get into it. I had never actually seen any of the Saw movies, and I hadn't seen this one until I just watched it to make this review. And I can honestly see like why like people really do feel very mixed on it. Like, I guess there are like people that really can get into like this kind of story, but me personally, it just wasn't for me, and I was pretty bored with it. And as I said, like I'm not really gonna. As I said, like I'm not going to talk about any sequels. So I'm not going to talk about any of the Saw sequels in these reviews. Yeah, and I really don't plan on ever really talking about the Saw sequels because despite the fact that I've never seen them, based on what I've heard about them, it is basically just like watching the same movie over and over again. That's what I've heard about them. So I really don't plan to actually ever talk about any of the other Saw movies. Yeah, and plus, like I said, like they haven't even received like the best reception. Like there are some people that like them, but there are others that don't. So I really don't think that they are really worth checking out for. out if that's really the case. Yeah. But yeah, for this film, like I just really didn't enjoy what it did, and yeah, and like I said, I was just like pretty bored with it throughout the entire thing. It just felt very cliched and corny, and yeah, I just couldn't get into it. So yeah, so I guess I would probably just give this film like I'll give it like 2 stars out of 4. All right, so yeah, so I just really don't know what else to say. I mean, I guess like of course, like one of the things that the Saw films are really known for is its like main monster, of course, Jigsaw, and Jigsaw is really like a like a haunted puppet or something. Yeah, kind of similar to like Chucky or even like Slappy and Goosebumps. So yeah, so the series is known for like having like the the monster like that um in these films. So yeah, so at least like these films do like have something to really like remember them by. If even if like if you never have actually watched any of the Saw movies, you do know that the character Jigsaw is from the Saw movies. Yeah, so I guess like at least like it does have like an overall famous monster in these films. So yeah, it has like well known stuff like that, but yeah, the actual film really not that good. All right, so yeah, so I really don't know what else I can really say about it. So yeah, I'll just like talk about the film. All right, so the film opens up. It shows like there are these two guys like that are like um uh chained in like this in this bathroom. It's like a photographer named Adam and an oncologist, Doctor Lawrence Gordon. Yeah, and it shows like they're both like chained by their ankle in in a bathroom, and they're like on different sides of the room from each other. Yeah, and yeah, and they notice that between them, there's like a body of some suicide victim with a revolver and a micro cassette recorder. Yeah, and as and then eventually they both end up finding like a tape in their pockets, and then as Adam retrieved the recorder, like as he was listening to his tape, the tape urged him to survive, and then Gordon's tape, like it ordered him to kill Adam by 6 o'clock, or else like his family, which consisted of his wife Allison and his daughter Diana, would be killed. Yeah. Then yeah, then as they eventually ended up like discovering two hacksaws was in a bag that was like inside of the toilet. Then they both tried to use the hacksaws to try to cut free from their chains, but yeah, they then like saw that like the the saws really were not intended for the chains, but it was for them to actually saw through their feet to free themselves. Yeah, yeah, and then then they eventually like identified like the the person that actually did like put them in this situation and put them captive as a killer that's known as the Jigsaw Killer. Yeah. Here and yeah, and like the Jigsaw Killer like was like labeled as like a serial killer that is like wanting to test victims' will to survive through lethal traps that like he refers to as games. And yeah, Dr. Gordon like knew about it because like he apparently was once a suspect act in this uh, situation. Yeah, yeah. Then it shows how like 5 months earlier, Doctor Gordon like discovered like that one of his patients, John Kramer, had the had some terminal brain cancer, and then as he was interrogated by two detectives, one of them was Detective David Tapp, who was played by Danny Glover. And I guess I should probably also mention that Dr. Gordon is played by Carrie Ellis. Yeah, and the detectives like discovered that Dr. Gordon's pen light was at the scene of one of Jigsaw's games. Yeah, and then as uh, Dr. Gordon like did agree to give the testimony of like one of the Jigsaw Killer's former victims, a heroin addict named Amanda Young. It shows how she was at one time forced by the Jigsaw Killer to kill and disembowel a guy to obtain a key to free herself from this reverse bear trap that was strapped to her face, and the detectives discovered Jigsaw's warehouse by the videotape that was in Amanda's game. Yeah, and then after they apprehended the Jigsaw Killer and saved a man from a trap, Jigsaw ended up injuring a Tap and was able to escape, but Singh was able to pursue Jigsaw in a hallway, and then he accidentally triggered a shotgun that ended up killing him. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, and then then as it eventually cut back to the present in time with Dr. Gordon and Adam, who was shown how Allison and Diana were held captive at their apartment by the same guy that's holding Adam and Gordon captive, and it shows how the captor actually did have a hidden camera on Adam and Gordon, so he could watch them too. Yeah, and then then as it shows how um Detective Tap following Singh's death, uh, Tap ended up being discharged from the police. And as he was watching the house as well, it shows how he was very obsessed with the Jigsaw case and really finding out the facts about it, and he really was convinced that Dr. Gordon was the killer. Yeah, but then then eventually like uh, a cigarette box ended up being discovered, which had two cigarettes, a lighter, as well as a one-way cell phone. And then then Dr. Gordon then recounted that at one point he was abducted in a parking garage by somebody wearing a pig mask, and then Adam also had an abduction of his own that when he returned home with a puppet in his dark room, which was the Jigsaw puppet. Yeah, and then it showed how he also had some photos of Dr. Gordon. Yeah, and then with the captor actually holding Allison at gunpoint, then the captor had Allison talk to Dr. Gordon over the phone, and she was telling him not to believe Adam. Yeah, and then eventually Adam then revealed how um uh, Detective Tap actually did hire Adam to actually spy on Dr. Gordon, and then Adam revealed to Dr. Gordon that he knew about um um that Dr. Gordon did have an affair with one of his medical students that he visited the night that he was abducted. Yeah, and then Dr. Gordon then deduced that the affair is the reason why he's actually being tested, and then eventually Adam discovered a photo of the captor, and then Dr. Gordon then actually recognized the captor as a hospital orderly named Zep Hindle. Yeah, and then as 6 o'clock then approached, Zep then was about to kill Allison and Diana since Dr. Gordon hadn't killed Adam, but yeah, Allison was able to free herself from um uh, the bounds, and then ended up fighting Zep. And then and as they were fighting, then it ended up attracting attention from Tap, and then he then eventually discovered uh Zep holding Allison and Diana captive, and he was able to save Allison and Diana. Yeah, then he then chased Zep down to the sewers, and then as they had a fight, eventually Zep ended up uh being able to shoot Tap in the chest, killing him. Yeah, then with Dr. Gordon, he heard over the phone all the shots and the fighting and stuff, but uh, he thought that his family was in trouble, and so then in just desperation, he then like decided to actually saw off his foot, and then yeah, then he grabbed the gun from the corpse, and then he ended up shooting Adam, supposedly killing him. Then Zepp entered the bathroom. And then, as he was about to kill Dr. Gordon, Adam, like, it was revealed that he survived the gunshot and then used a toilet tank lid to bludgeon Zepp to death. Yeah, and then as Dr. Gordon then like crawled out from the bathroom to try to find help, as Adam was trying to search for Zepp's body for a key, he ended up like discovering another tape, and it was revealed that Zepp was just another victim of Jigsaw. To follow rules to obtain an antidote for a slow-acting poison in his body. Yeah, but then then all of a sudden, then the corpse in the room ended up rising, and it turned out that the corpse was John Kramer, who like was then revealed to be the real Jigsaw killer. Then he was just telling Adam that the key to his chain was in the bathtub, but it went down the drain when Adam had first awoken and drained the water. Then, as Adam was attempting to shoot John with Zepp's gun, John ended up like electrically shocking um, Adam through the chain. Then it showed like as John was exiting the bathroom, he just like said "game over" to Adam as he sealed the door to leave Adam to die. And then it just like went to black, and as the credits rolled, you just like heard Adam screaming. So and that's how it ended. So like I said, just I really did not really enjoy this movie. Like I just felt very bored by the story. Like it didn't really seem very well written. It was very cliche, not very well acted, and just I really just was not interested in what this film did. So yeah, so this film just it really didn't do anything for me, to be honest. Like I just really did not enjoy this. Like I just felt very bored watching it, and I really don't think I really am going to come back to this film anytime soon, if even ever again. So I know it does have its fans out there, but I'm really not going to be joining that club. I don't think. All right, so like I said, I would give this film 2 stars out of 4. So it's not the worst horror film of all time, but it just really didn't do anything for me. So me personally, I wouldn't recommend it. If you haven't seen the movie before, you're really not missing much. All right. So I guess that's the best way I can put it. All right. So this is from my review of Saw. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.